Today for this video I'm going to be taking you back 20 years ago. It is now the year 2006 and this absolute masterpiece has just hit the cinemas. Cars is an animated comedy adventure film by Pixar Animation Studios and released by Walt Disney Pictures. The story follows Lightning McQueen, a hotshot rookie race car who accidentally ends up stranded in the small town of Radiator Springs alongside historic Route 66. While there, he learns important lessons about friendship, humility, and what truly matters beyond fame and winning. The film combines humor, heart, and racing action and became one of Pixar's most popular franchises. Cars is a lot of people's favorite movie, there is no doubt about that. What if I told you that alongside this great film, an amazing game was also created at the time? This game was absolutely amazing back in the day and it still holds up very well. Let's take a look at Cars, the video game. Cars is a 2006 open-world adventure racing game published by THQ. The game is based on the 2006 film of the same name. It was released for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, Microsoft Windows, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and PlayStation Portable in June 2006. Taking place after the events of the film, the game follows Lightning McQueen as he participates in the new racing season with his goal set on finally winning the Piston Cup. While doing so, he races and trains with the local community of Radiator Springs. The game takes place in an open world in the vein of Need for Speed, Grand Theft Auto, and Midnight Club. As the player progresses, additional areas of the open world are unlocked. The player character begins in Radiator Springs but later unlocks Ornament Valley and Tilefin Pass. Players primarily control Lightning McQueen, but on occasion control other characters in specific events or minigames. It features 10 playable characters from the film, all voiced by the original voice talent. The player must compete in 19 road races, 8 minigames, and 5 Piston Cup races to help Lightning McQueen win his first Piston Cup championship. Races vary in format and include checkpoint races, circuit courses in the open world, and Piston Cup races. Additionally, each format adjusts characters based on the situation. Piston Cup races include only Piston Cup races and feature 20 cars. Circuit and checkpoint races feature characters from the open world story. Additionally, checkpoint races feature monster truck versions of characters. Multiplayer is available for 2 players in split screen mode, and each of the standard races are available. The game also features a number of minigames and items for the player to collect. Amongst the minigames are tractor tipping with Mater and a tire hunt challenge with Luigi. Other minigames appear as events during races, such as Luigi's pit stops during Piston Cup races. 3 additional minigames, Mater's Countdown Cleanup, Mater's Speedy Circuit, and Ghosting Mater are exclusive to the Xbox 360 and Nintendo Wii versions, which were released over 4 months after the initial release. Collectibles help to unlock characters, liveries, and concept art. My favorite out of all these minigames has to be the tractor tipping and attempting to avoid Frank the Combine. Of course, as this game is old, the same characters will keep appearing and reappearing and they will interact with Lightning McQueen, sometimes even saying the exact same phrases, which is absolutely hilarious. Here's a short clip of said thing happening.
Hello, nice to see you.
Now why you going down?
How you doing? Good.
Let's talk a little bit about the main story and go into more depths. As I mentioned previously, the game takes place after the events of the film. It begins with a playable dream sequence in which Lightning McQueen participates in a street race through Radiator Springs and the surrounding area. He is awakened by Sally, who informs him that Doc is waiting for him at Willie's Butte. Upon his arrival at the Butte, Doc gives McQueen lessons on how to perform a power slide. These characters challenge McQueen to exhibition races throughout the story. With his first exhibition race completed, McQueen participated in some tractor tipping with Mater before heading to his first Piston Cup race at Palm Mile Speedway, which he won. Just like in the film, Lightning McQueen is being trained by various characters so that he is ready to face the big final race. Upon returning to Radiator Springs, he participates in off-road training with Sarge. Fillmore also provides McQueen with a new organic fuel, which provides him with the ability to boost for short periods. He participated in a few more exhibition races in town before traveling to and winning his second Piston Cup race, this time at Speedway of the South. Now I will admit that I have not yet finished the main story, as I have been trying to get 100% completion of the game. 100% completion of the game is achieved by collecting all of the trophies. To collect the trophy, McQueen has to complete every single race and every level in the minigames perfectly. This means that all the levels have to be completed and McQueen has to finish every race in first place, otherwise you'll miss out on various trophies. The gameplay was surprisingly fun for a licensed game aimed mainly at younger audiences. The controls were simple enough for almost anyone to pick up, but there was still enough challenge to make races exciting. One of the most satisfying mechanics was drifting. Sliding around corners built up boost energy, allowing players to explode down straightaways at high speed. For people at the time, this created an incredible sense of speed and excitement. Racing through canyons, dirt roads, and crowded tracks felt cinematic, almost like participating in the movie itself. The game understood that it didn't need to be complicated for it to be enjoyable. It simply needed to feel fun. For many people, including myself, Cars became one of the most comfort games they return to again and again. It reminds players of a different era of gaming, a time before massive online multiplayer systems, battle passes, and endless updates. Back then, games felt simpler. A player could come home after school, turn on an old PlayStation 2 or GameCube, and immediately lose themselves inside a colorful desert filled with familiar characters. There was something relaxing about that simplicity, and the Cars game captured it perfectly. Nostalgia also plays a huge role in why the game is still remembered so fondly today. For some players, it was one of the very first video games they ever completed. Others remember playing it with siblings, friends, or parents while spending entire afternoons trying to unlock every challenge in the game. The soundtrack, the sounds of the engines, and even the loading screens instantly bring back memories for people who grew up with it. While many licensed games faded into obscurity over time, Cars somehow managed to leave a lasting emotional connection with its audience. The game also deserves credit for respecting its source material. Many movie games at the time felt disconnected from the films they were based on, but Cars clearly understood what made the movie work. The story of Cars was never only about racing. At its core, it was about slowing down, appreciating friendship, and learning to enjoy the journey instead of constantly chasing success. The game managed to capture that exact feeling through its environments, pacing, and exploration. Even though players spent plenty of time racing competitively, the world always encouraged them to relax and take in the atmosphere around them. Even today, nearly 20 years later, fans still revisit the Cars game through old consoles, emulators, and online videos. Some people replay it for nostalgia, while younger audiences discover it for the first time and are surprised by how enjoyable it still feels. In a gaming industry now dominated by massive open worlds and hyper-realistic graphics, there's something charming about returning to a simple game centered around a small desert town and a red race car. The legacy of the Cars game may not be as massive as some legendary racing franchises, but that was really not the point. The game succeeded because it created memories. It gave players a world that felt comforting, peaceful, and fun to return to. For the people who grew up with it, Radiator Springs became more than just a location from a Pixar movie. It became a place connected to childhood itself, a quiet town filled with sunsets, old roads, and memories that never completely faded away. One of the most memorable parts of the Cars video game was its soundtrack. The music perfectly captured the calm and nostalgic atmosphere of Radiator Springs, blending country, rock, and desert-inspired instrumentals that matched the feeling of driving along old Route 66. Many tracks from the Cars were included in the game, helping players feel even more connected to the world and characters they already loved. During races, the music became energetic and exciting, but while exploring the open roads, it slowed down into relaxing background melodies that made the town feel peaceful and alive. For many players, the soundtrack became one of the biggest reasons the game felt so comforting and memorable, with certain songs instantly bringing back childhood memories years later. After the success of the original Cars, several sequels based on later movies were released, including games tied to Cars 2 and Cars 3. While these newer titles featured improved graphics and faster gameplay, many fans felt they lacked the charm and relaxing atmosphere of the first game. Instead of focusing on exploring Radiator Springs, the sequel leaned more into action and competitive racing, which made them feel less memorable to longtime players. Although the sequels were still enjoyed by the audiences, they never created the same emotional connection or lasting nostalgia as the first game. Over time, the original Cars became remembered as the standout title in the series.